Now, I remember back in the days, um, I had just left the narcissist in that time. So I had awakened, and then I ran into a greater narcissist. So those days I was like, okay, I'm gonna try, to go in a relationship. Yes, I wanted to see how things work out. You know what I mean? So I'd been alone for a couple of months. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to start a new relationship, and just to see how things go. You know what I mean? So I was just putting myself out there, and then this greater narcissist came out of nowhere, came out of the blue, just like that, came out of the blue. You know what I mean? In that time, I had gotten a very good, significant amount of money. It was a very huge sum of money in that time. So when I was with this narcissist, for some reason, I started spending a lot of money. The money was just vanishing from my account. I was just spending, spend this and spend this. So this narcissist, I noticed, was very hungry for money. So those days it was a lockdown, and so we had lockdown in, in the same vicinity, and then of course eventually, only for me to find out a couple of weeks later, so it was around 2 or 3 weeks later, that I had already burnt out close to £3,000. Now, in the midst of that entanglement, of course, in those days, I used to see these red flags. I would see, some of the patterns. Then I was like, I am familiar with these patterns. I've seen these patterns with very common with narcissists. So I'd already seen this pattern. So I'd awakened to these patterns. So I figured out that actually this person was a narcissist. It was a covert narcissist. Not only covert narcissist, this person was also a greater narcissist. So in those days, I planned my exit. So very slowly, I've told you guys, when you're leaving the narcissist, so normally you do it quietly. You walk out very, very silently. They are not supposed to know. Because when the narcissist knows that you're going to leave them, they are going to put up a fight. And most of the times, that fight isn't going to end well anyway. So I walked out of that entanglement very quietly. So I came back home. Then I had a conversation on the phone with the narcissist. So I didn't tell this narcissist that I'd figured out. You know what I mean? So I just came home and I had a conversation on phone with the narcissist. Then I told the narcissist, I need time for myself. So I need time to know what is happening because it's like there's some things I really don't understand. I need some time alone to figure out these things. I really need to know what is going on. You know what I mean? So I asked for some time. So in those days I asked God, I prayed, and I asked God, I need God, I need you to show me who is this person. There is some things I'm seeing, I'm seeing patterns and some behaviors, and I'm really suspicious that this particular individual could be a narcissist. So I asked guidance from God. I asked God to give me some clues. You know what I mean? So one night I went to sleep and I had a vision. It was a very, very clear vision. So this narcissist ended up in my bed. In that dream, I saw the narcissist in my bed. And it was, the narcissist had like claws, they were like claws, very long nails like that, very, very huge, long claws, And then the narcissist, I was trying to push this person away. I was trying to tell this person, hey, listen, I have nothing to do with you. So we need to stay away from each other. I do not need you in my life. And the narcissist was trying to drag on, she was trying to hold on and hold on to me. So she put these claws in my neck. She stuck these claws in my neck, very deep in my neck. And then, of course, eventually drew me closer and whispered in my ear. And this narcissist said, you probably do not know who I am. And the next thing I heard, she said that she was the Jezebel, you know. So she told me, you do not know who I am. And the next thing I heard, she was the Jezebel. And that's when I woke up from my dream. You know what I mean? So it's like I got the answer that I was looking for. I knew there was something not adding up with this particular individual, but I wanted clarity. I wanted to find out this. So I asked my angels, I asked my ancestors, I asked God to help me to figure out this person. Who was this person exactly? That's when I confirmed that this person actually was the Jezebel. So in those next couple of days, I blocked that particular individual. So I blocked the individual. I removed everything from my social media. I deleted all the items we had together, all those little surprises and presents. I threw out everything. I've already told you guys that when you're living a narcissist, so you have got to detach physically and you've got to detach emotionally. So you've got to get rid of a lot of things, especially the things that you have got, you have. acquired from that particular individual. It could be a dress, it could be a watch, maybe a necklace, there was a birthday present or things like that. So you start getting rid of those things. Because a lot of times those people, they share with you things and they use these things as points of contact. So they have to have something with you that is a point of contact. You know what I mean? It is something that must come from them. So when you're leaving these particular individuals, you have got to get rid of everything that you know is connected to that particular individual. It does not matter how much that thing costs. It could be pricey, it could have been expensive. You have got to get rid of it. So that is how you start to breaking this kind of trauma bonds with people. You know what I mean? So anyhow, I broke out of that entanglement emotionally and physically, and I went on with my life. But then I recalled many years ago, I was involved in a long-term relationship with a narcissist. So those days, I remember seeing a narcissist doing things. A lot of times, you've seen people saying that these narcissists, they know what they are doing. You know, you hear people say sometime on this media platform, they say, "Oh, you know, the narcissist, they do this, they know what they are doing." Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The narcissist has signed a contract with the devil. This Jezebel spirit only needs a vessel. And most of the times they need people who are on a very low frequency, on a very, very low vibration. So these are people who may be sometimes have been dealing with traumas. They could have been going through difficult circumstances. They could have chosen very difficult paths in life, very negative patterns in life. You know, they could be people who are involved with extortions, robberies, killings, murder, you know, those kind of things, stealing, manipulation, all those kind of things. The very moment you get attached to those kind of patterns, that is exactly when actually this spirit actually will take over your body and take over your soul. So those individuals, they have got a turning point in life whereby they are now possessed by this demon. And you will see this when you're with the narcissist. You will see sometimes the narcissist will say something. In your eyes, it looks like if it looks as if they mean it. They know what they're talking about, they mean it. In your eyes, you know these people, what they are saying, they mean it. 2 minutes later, you're going to ask them what they have said, and they cannot remember. You know, guys, I've been with the narcissist for a very long time, at least even 7 years, or probably even plus. I have seen patterns where the narcissist was doing things, very hurtful, harmful things towards me. And in 2 minutes, you ask them what have they done or why have they done those kind of things, and they cannot remember what they have done. Sometimes they cannot even remember what they have said. A narcissist will cause you pain, very difficult situation. They will cause you pain. You will go through arguments. You will fight with them, and you do everything. The next day, the narcissist does not recognize what they have done to you the previous day. They don't even remember some of the things they did to you. You know, when you're talking about this Jezebel spirit, the Jezebel spirit uses these narcissists as vessels. And when the work has been done, and I find that when everything is done and the job has been fulfilled by the narcissist, that Jezebel spirit is going to carry on and go to somebody else and use somebody else. So that's the reason why you see sometimes you find families, you know, like a lot of you guys who have been in these dysfunctional families. You can find that sometimes you have a narcissistic parent. You know, you have a narcissistic parent. Maybe that time you don't know, you could have been the black sheep, the scapegoat. You have got a narcissistic parent in your family. And then only for you to awaken at a later point in time, you awaken. And then you figure out that actually a lot of your family members have already been infected by this narcissism. And a lot of times they do not even know they're the narcissists. When you awaken and you leave your parents behind, you exit a toxic family unit full of narcissists, your parents, you're going to recover, you're going to realize that even some of the narcissist people in your family, your own brothers and sisters, they have already been infected with this narcissism. And a lot of them, they're not even aware of this. So when you're talking about this spirit uses people, uses vessels. They need vessels to operate. You know what I mean? So it is very easy for them to get attached, to attach themselves to people who are on a very, very low frequency. You know what I mean? The people have had very difficult childhoods. You know, they are suffering so much trauma going on in their lives. And that's when the Jezebel actually attaches themselves to those people and they'll corrupt their souls. So a lot of times you've heard about people saying that there's no cure there is no cure for narcissism. You know what I mean? Personally, I believe that there's a spiritual cure for narcissism. There is a spiritual way out of this. But when you want to focus on the scientific methods and the psychological methods to cure narcissism, you're wasting your time. There is no amount of psychologists, therapists, medics. Nobody can cure narcissism because narcissism is incurable. But on the spiritual perspective, it is possible because you're dealing with the spirit. A narcissist can be cured spiritually. So they're only used like so when you see these people, the way they operate, they're like bots. You know what I mean? They're like robots. They do something, in the next day they don't know what they did. Even if they know what they did, they had no control over it because they had to do it. Because you see, one thing you have to understand with these narcissists are used to siphon energy from different individuals around the world. So they are used to harvest. I've done a video before about how the narcissists harvest your energy. So they are used to harvest energy, as much energy as they can. So they can do this probably through, sometimes it can be through sex, it can be through taking your money, it can be through, sucking your emotions, or things like that, because they feed off of your emotions. You know what I mean? They are used as energy harvest, so they are used to harvest energy. But as soon as their job is done, that is it. Maybe sometime you have exited that relationship. They are going to go through. They are going to go to the next victim until the time comes whereby the vessels, because there comes a time whereby that vessel is tired, the vessel is exhausted. The narcissist as a vessel, they're exhausted, and they can no longer perform the same way that they used to do when they used to be young and energetic and whatever. So it's now that point whereby they're abandoned, and most of the time that's why you see the narcissist is going to have the most difficult time of their entire lives. So you guys might be wondering, why is the narcissist very scared to be alone? You know what I mean? Why are they very scared to be alone? They cannot handle. They do not even know how to be alone. They cannot handle being alone, even for 1 minute, because the narcissist knows the very moment they are alone by themselves, they do not have an energy source, to help them, validate them, whatever, to get something from them, from different kinds of individuals. That is the moment they're supposed to look at themselves in the mirror, and they're now supposed to face their own demons face to face, and they cannot handle this. So I remember those days when I left this greater narcissist. So when I came back in that time, because you see, there's something I'm going to tell you guys very important. When you awaken after narcissistic abuse, the narcissist that you're dealing with, they will know. I'm going to repeat this one more time, ladies and gentlemen. When you awaken and you snap out of narcissistic abuse, the narcissist will know. On an emotional level, she will know. On a very spiritual level, she will know that you have awakened. And the very first thing what they do when they figure out that you have awakened, they are going to run very, very far away from you. They do not even want to see you. They can only see you when they must, but they do not want even to look at you because they know this individual has awakened and they can see them for who they are. So physically, they've been doing all these things to you. They're abusing you, doing this kind of stealing from you, whatever it is, manipulating you, gaslighting you, whatever. They have been doing these things physically. Some of which they have been aware of these things, some of them they have not been aware. But mostly when you awaken and you figure out this person is a narcissist, the narcissist is going to disappear from your life like you've never seen them before. Like they don't even want to see you. They are going to run far away from you. Every now and then they may try to come in and do, they may try to come in for a Hoover address just to see if they can take you back or whatever it is. They may give it a try or give it a shot just to see how weak you are. Most of the time they want to test the waters just to see how weak you are. If I come back to this individual's life, are they going to take me back or the things like that? They may try, but most of the times they know this person has awakened and this person is impossible. On a very spiritual level, something is going to click the moment you snap. Because remember, when you snap, so it's like you move out of that 3D consciousness. You're going out of uh, that state of consciousness. You're rising to higher consciousness. You know what I mean? So when you rise into higher consciousness, you tap more into your spirituality, and most of the times that spirituality also it is felt by the narcissist that you're dealing with. That's when they are going to know this particular individual. They know something. They figure out something. Most of the times, they're not even saying anything. So you could have awakened, and sometimes you just want to keep it quiet. You know what I mean? You don't want to say anything. You want to keep it low. You want to stay low. You want to stay low profile. You don't want to tell them what you know. You don't want to expose them. But on a spiritual level, they have already known. They have already figured out that you know. Because I've told you guys, when you're dealing with the narcissist, you are dealing with the spirit. You are not dealing with the person as a vessel. Is the reason as to why in my videos I've told you guys so many times. It is not the person, the narcissist that you're dealing with. You're dealing with the spirit. And the very moment you understand this and it clicks in your head and you figure it out that you're dealing with the spirit, it is going to activate your healing to a degree you've never seen before. Because finally, everything is going to be answered. All your questions you have had from your entire dealing with those individuals, it could have been 10, 20 years. Your questions are going to be answered the very moment you understand you have been dealing with the demon. For me, when I woke up in those days, so I detached. I felt something. This was like an emotional, spiritual detachment from this person. So this person knew. They could feel it. They feel that you've changed your behaviors. You've changed your move. You're moving different. You're acting different. You're talking different. They know that this person has awakened, but they cannot really figure out what is going on. But they know on a very spiritual level that you have awakened. And let me tell you something. The last thing the demon wants is exposure. So the very moment you figure them out that these people, they are demons, that demon finds out and they know that you have figured them out that they're demons. It is the moment those individuals are going to leave you alone. They will know first of all that this person has figured them out, and they're going to try very hard to stay away from you. In some cases, you might even see the narcissists, they are going to drag themselves out. You may not even have to do it yourself. They may actually themselves get out of that entanglement because now it is going to become very dangerous for them to operate. They can no longer take something from you. They can no longer steal from you. They can no longer abuse you. They can no longer manipulate you. They can do nothing because nothing is effective when you have a spiritual awakened after narcissistic abuse. There's nothing they're going to do is effective. So that's when now they're going to zoom off and run off and go out there and find alternative sources of supply. Because at that moment you're impossible. It's impossible to do anything to you. Now, over these years, we're talking about like 3 years now, since I awakened, I've continued to be attacked. Of course, there are some days when I'm getting attacked. Sometimes I'm walking around, I get different kinds of individuals pop up from out of the woodworks. They pop up into my life. They try to say something that is going to trigger me, or to say something that is going to put me off track, or do something that's going to make me feel some kind of a way. I am no longer triggered because the moment this guy is coming, I already know who they are. So most of the times it may take you a day. Maybe sometimes it may take you 2 days. But before you know it, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. When you're awakened, you're awakened. You are going to see these individuals for the very first time. You're going to look around you and you're going to figure out that these people, they've always been everywhere. You was just too blind not to see this. But these demons were everywhere. When you tap into that spiritual aspect of things, of life, the universe is going to show you the things that you've been dealing with your entire life. And the narcissists, they are going to expose themselves in that way that you've never seen before. Because you see, the thing is, once the veil lifts, you've been in that shadow, you've been behind the curtains. So they've been operating behind the scenes, subconsciously, spiritually. The moment you awaken and you start going out there into the public and whatever, you start moving around town and everything, you are going to see these demons for who they are. You're going to see these demons scattering all over the place. You are going to see them moving up and down. They're all over the place. They're everywhere. So a lot of you guys think that when people talk about the devil in the Bible, a lot of you guys think that the devil, is supposed to be some creature, which is like dressed in black clothes and they're looking some kind of a way like weird creatures or things like that. The devil is operating in human form. So they're using people as vessels. If you want to see the devil, You have got to look very closely to narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths. You're going to see how the devil operates. The devil is operating within people. So they use the people as vessels. And the aim of these narcissists is to take as many souls as they can. The aim of narcissists is to capture and to take as many souls as they can and to harvest as much energy as they can. That's their mission on the planet. That's what they're here to do. So you guys already know that these narcissists, they are fallen angels. You know what I mean? They are fallen angels. They don't have a place to go, so they need to feed off of beautiful people and beautiful souls. So you're not surprised as to why those guys, they always choose uh, to hang around empaths. You know what I mean? And most of the times, you're not even looking for them. You're not even looking for them. You're not bothered. It does not matter what you do, guys. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Most of the times, even if you're not looking for a relationship, they are going to come to you. You have got to pay very close attention, ladies and gentlemen. So these devils, this Jezebel, they usually come in at your most vulnerable moment. So sometimes maybe you've been through a breakup. Maybe sometimes you've lost your business. Maybe something happened to your car. You've been in hospital. You've been in a car accident. That is when they are going to come in because those Jezebels, they want to use vulnerable people. So that moment you're suffering, you're hurting. So you're in pain. So that's when they come in because they want to pretend like they're the good Samaritans. They are going to help you to do this. Or don't worry about that. That guy was a stupid guy. He didn't see your value, so I'm going to help you. So they are going to come in like good Samaritans. If you ever step out of a relationship and a person comes out of the blue and they are promising to save you, they are going to heal you, they are going to help you to recover, those kind of things, guys, 95% chances you are dealing with a narcissist. It's just another Jezebel in human form. Or sometimes another way they come in, they can come in a. So sometimes you can find, for example, you have got a windfall of money. Like I've started this video, and I've told you guys in those days when I left the narcissist, I ran into a very big amount of money in that time. In the next 2 days, guys, ladies and gentlemen, the narcissist popped out of nowhere, out of the blue. And before you know it, the money was gone. So sometimes you can be a person who is married. You just got married. You met your soulmate. You guys have just gotten married. The narcissists, they come in to sabotage your marriage. Those people that you're going to find them, you've just gotten married. Maybe you married last week. In the following week, you run into somebody, and that somebody is going to try to convince you that the ones for you. They are the ones for you. So they even want to sabotage your marriage. They want you to end and to sabotage your marriage so that you can go along with them. So if you guys who are married, you have a partner, you have a husband, you have a wife, and then you're running around town. And then you run into this individual who is promising you, you say, you shouldn't have married that person. That person is not even good for you. It's me that you should be married to me, you should be staying with me, these kind of things. They are trying to sabotage your marriage because they already know you have got something beautiful that is going on for yourself. So they are coming to sabotage your marriage. If you fall for the trap, ladies and gentlemen, and you keep on and you go ahead and sleep with those individuals, the chance is very high that you're going to end your marriage. So they always come in when you're vulnerable in the very bad times, and they always come in when you've got something good going on. You just bought your house. You know what I mean? Maybe the person who just bought your house. You've gotten a new job, a very, very nice job. You've been having this dream job. You've been dreaming about this job for years. And all of a sudden, you've been employed. You got a job. Ladies and gentlemen, before as soon as you walk out of that corporation or whatever company, the nurses is going to wait for you in the corner. They're going to come in. Oh, who are you? What's your name? Oh, if you want, we can go and date. We can be together. They are going to come in the times when they already know you've already hit the jackpot. That's when they come in because they are coming in to sabotage whatever it is you got going on. Those people, they are here to kill, to steal, and to destroy. That is how the Jezebel operates. The Jezebel has got three missions in your life: to kill, to steal, and to destroy. They come in your most vulnerable moments, and they also come in your most exciting moments. You only have got to have the spirit of discernment. When you have got the spirit of discernment, you are going to be protected forever. If you can look through people and you see their intentions, in that shortest time that you stay with them, you can read their intention. You can really figure out, what do these people really want. You're going to be able to protect yourself forever. There's nobody will ever catch you by surprise. So I just want to let you guys know that normally, when you're talking about narcissists, this narcissism, narcissistic abuse, and everything, you have got to know the narcissists, they are being used as vessels to carry out the devil's work. That's what they do. And they're not even bothered. They're not bothered who they have killed. They're not bothered if they have caused you to lose all your money. They're not bothered what they have stolen from you. They are not bothered if you're alive or not. As soon as their job is done, they have taken whatever it is they want from you, they are going to move on to the next victim. That's what they do. Until the time comes whereby now they're no longer physically in shape and fit to perform and execute those missions. That is when that devil now, that demon, the Jezebel, is going to move on to somebody else. So if you're dealing with the parent, for example, the parent was the narcissist, and that parent ages at some degree, they are no longer able to persecute and execute these missions they have always been doing all their lives. That spirit is going to move on to children, to their own children. So that's when you find out sometimes there's a brother of yours acting completely like his father. There's a daughter of there's a sister of yours acting completely like their mother. They move on to the next victim and they go. That cycle keeps on repeating, and that cycle does not stop. The only thing that stops the narcissist cycle is a person who has awakened. When you awakened, is you who is capable and who is able to break out of these cycles permanently. So I would like to let you guys know that this video is just to create awareness, to let you guys know these demons are there. They're out everywhere. They've been knocking around, destroying people, causing havoc. You only have got to be aware. Your eyes are supposed to be open so that you know how to protect yourself. And it's in your own interest, guys, to do your research. Protect yourselves. Be on the lookout everywhere, because these people, they will not stop. But somebody has got to stop them. So let us know what you think about this video, guys, in the comment section below. You always know that I love and appreciate your support. You can always book a session with me if you want to. You may donate and support my channel if you would like. All the links you need, you'll find them in the description section below. And until then, love and blessings, guys. Watching my next one. There's a signing out. Peace.